Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Second period, where players dash with skates aflash, the home team trails behind, but they grab the puck and go bursting up, and they're down across the line. They storm the trees like bumblebees, they travel like a burning flame. We see them slide the puck inside, it's a 1-1 hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name, and the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Take me where hockey players face off down the rink, and the Stanley Cup is all filled.
Hockey Fan Report! Aloha and mahalo. I am Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. Thank you so much for letting me know that you love me by putting things in the air. It says when I come to this reminder, I can't see anymore. I have to go to the Hawaii page and wait for the link so I can see everyone else in the chat. Okay, bud. Killing the name of, have you heard him play on the organ? That is Jeremy. Oh, man, I can't think of his last. Boyer. Jeremy Boyer is on the organ there. That's Jeremy Boyer. Well, there's three ways. There's a couple different ways you can watch this, Jason. One, you can just, if you're friended with me, and basically my page is open, so you don't have to be friended with me. I posted on my page, the Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and there is a thing that you can do where it says notify me every time that I go live. I don't know how to do it, but I know it can be done. So you can do it there. I'm also on Twitter. I come on, but that doesn't come on until we go live. And then you can go to YouTube, search for the Blue Note Fan Report, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and put all. Every time that I schedule a live, it will tell you, and then it will tell you within like 15 minutes of me going on live or something like that. So that's the way to do it, you know? Right? Jeremy Boyer, yes, I have heard him play that. And that's actually a video he sent me to use on the show. Right? Gave me permission to use it. Fingers in the air. I'm not sure what that means there, Guido. Putting a thumbs up. That's what he's saying. So Danny Trower, my one of my Warrior buddies, got my Warrior jersey over here. Sammy Holmes and Jason Nichols, thank you so much for putting that thumb in the air. We really appreciate it. Should have Ashley here shortly, or maybe even Lance. I'm not sure. We'll see if they show up or not. Today, I'm waiting on Marianne Holmes to show up. Before we get into that, before we get into Marianne, tomorrow, I am going to, normally I don't do the show, the promo for the show ahead of time, because you never know what happens today. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to work on and share out tomorrow's show. Tomorrow, scheduled to appear, Gary Unger. And we're going to talk about the 1974 All-Star Game and Chrysler. I think it's going to be absolutely great. Should be a lot of fun. Oh, man, I hope it does. I hope you do get to go to Dallas there, Chris. Marianne is here. Okay, Marianne, I know she has some questions. she brought up something from Hockey Feed. First of all, there's a lot of hockey websites out there. When you read an article, pay attention to the article itself. She sent me an article about what happened last night with the U.S., or not the U.S., Canada and Russia women's hockey game. If you don't know, I'll talk about it here in a minute. This article had some huge falsities in it. And people were jumping all over it. And it just shows the political nature of where we're at right now. And yes, I don't like talking about politics. It's not up in the Hawaii page, bud. Let me check. Let me go. Oh, maybe I didn't share it there. Let me share it there real quick. I thought I did. Might have screwed up. Blues fan client. I think most watch it from my page, and that's where they see it. And I try and put up all the comments anyways, right? I know you can't see them all because I'm using 3 or 4 different ways of doing it, but there we go. I just shared it in that group, so you should be able to see it there. Oh, Guido did. Okay, I thought Guido might have, right? Oh, but Guido, you share it from YouTube. I think he was asking for the Facebook one. Oh, you're welcome, Jason. You're welcome. Right? Okay, so what I was getting at, Hockey Feed, that article had some huge falsities in it, and they have in the past. God, I wish I could figure out a way to make these things go away. There's just too many of them. Okay, so what happened last night? The Canadians and the ROC, Russian Olympic Committee team were to play a game at 12:30 China Standard Time in China in Beijing, right? Yeah, I know you do, Robert. When they came out, they went to warm-ups. Both teams went to warm-ups. But after warm-ups, the Canadian team did not come back out. Oh, China has when they put that up, Tanner, it's actually China. It says China, not ROC. So I mean, they use the Olympic flag for this. So for China, they use the China flag, and we can get into that later. But what happens is the Canadian team doesn't come out of the locker room, and no one knows clearly what's going on. So apparently, last week, then have Jackson read it to you. I'm sure he reads better than you do, or Alex, either one. Hell, maybe even Chase. So because it was a 12 o'clock game, the COVID test was supposed to be done by a certain time, and the Russian Olympic Committee did not get the test done in time to get the results to the team before the start of the game. Well, the concern was from Canada that there were a bunch of players that were originally on quarantine that were now on the bench. So they were very concerned about that. They didn't come out. Well, after about 30 minutes, the Russian team went back in. Now, they were asked how long the delay was going to be, and the refs didn't know. No one really knew. So the teams go back in, and the Canadian team says, yeah, we'll come out and play, but everybody has to wear a mask until we get the results. Now, this is where the story on Hockey Feed goes off the rails. At the second intermission, ROC got the results and gave them to Canada. At this point, the ROC, or Team Russia, however you want to look at it, removed their mask. Team Canada didn't. They kept playing with them. Now this was some gamesmanship. Now, I one thing that really irks me, and actually it's one of the reasons that I'm not writing articles like I did before, because I had a hard time dealing with people who would make comments without reading the article, right? And some of the comments on this hockey feed, you could tell that they didn't read the article. And then I had someone going, oh, it's China's fault because of the China bug, and we shouldn't be there because of China's this and that and that and this. See, and Jason, right there, that's why that's right there why I have an issue, right? The Olympics are non-political. And actually, the gamesmanship wasn't from the ROC. I think it was from Team Canada, right? I can understand the test results not getting done in time. It happens, right? And I don't want to, Jason. They're not the only country that does that. A lot of countries do that, right? And that is. You use the word innocent, and that's a tough word there, because China, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, countries like that. Chris Lambert, hey, how you doing, buddy? Countries like that have a law that prevents the spreading of that religion. Well, okay, whether or not you agree with that law, it's that country's law. If you're going to break that law, well, that's on you, right? And I do not want to get political, but I'm going to end up getting a little bit political. I just had a discussion with somebody who is a fan of the show, probably isn't anymore, but they made a statement that they didn't agree with something, and that because of it, they should go storm the school. They made that statement, storm the school, just like that. Well, they got the authorities called on them, and they couldn't understand why. In fact, they said that we're a police state now because I can't have free speech. My issue here is the word storm has a verb, means to take forcibly. You just said you were going to forcibly take over a school where children live, our children go. Of course, someone's going to be concerned. Don't be upset at the person that told on you. Be upset at yourself for using that term. You knew what you were doing, right? You knew what you were doing. You used a term in that way, and you can say, oh, well, it was an exaggeration. No, it's not. It's like yelling fire in a crowded theater. You can say it was an exaggeration, but it wasn't. It was meant to cause chaos, right? And look, I'm trying to look at this in a very rational way. I'm getting a kumbaya. No, and Marianne, it's fine. You bring up a lot, I personally, I am a child of the Cold War. I fought and was there at the end of the Cold War. Right? Yeah, see, there we go. There you go. I know about that. I agreed. No, I am breathing. I'm trying to show everybody's things. You guys are going. I don't think this was newsworthy, Jason, but the gentleman is. Now they're going after. They're calling me a snowflake and all these other things. I told him if I was the DA, I would have wanted it investigated, because to me that is you trying to incite a riot. Yes, I know it's on the edge there. I get it. I like what you're saying there, Chris. Right? The way I liken it, yes, I do, Steve. Actually, but see, we'll get into some of that. We'll get into some of that. So this goes back into what I was talking about. I was being someone who fought the Cold War and who grew up in that period, who went to a military high school in the mid 80s, 83 to 87. You kind of got this distrust of Russia, China. Actually, back then it wasn't even Russia; it was the USSR, right? The USSR, United Soviet something, United Soviet Socialist Republic. There we go. Took me a second there. This was a little different, but kind of the same. I think it might have. I do think it might have been over the mask mandates, but so we distrust Russia, China, those countries like that. So we have some distrust. So when I first see this, yes, the first thing that comes to my mind is it's Russian games. But I looked at this. I watched last night. I watched the entire thing go out, right? I watched it on Peacock from when the game was supposed to start to the hour and something delay to the game. The gamesmanship was on Canada, right? The gamesmanship was absolutely on Canada. And that's fine. That's part of the Olympics. I do like some gamesmanship. Tonight at I think it's 11:15 or 11:30 or 11:15. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11:15 Eastern Standard Time is the biggest game of the Olympics, and that's going to be the U.S. versus Canada women. Absolutely, 10:20 Central Time. I mean, if you're up and you got the time and you can spend it, watch this game. Right? Canada's given up one goal in the Olympics, one or two. The U.S. has only given up two. Canada's has like a plus, I think it's plus 28 goal differential, and the U.S. is plus 18. Right? No USO trade yet, which, I'm still not ruling it out. The trade deadline's still a little down the way. All right, trade deadline still a little down the way. All right, I'm looking forward to this game tonight. Absolutely looking forward to this game tonight. I think that it's going to be. You're going to see it again in the gold medal game, right? One of the issues with women's hockey is there's just the U.S. and Canada. Nobody else is even within the same area code. Or I was going to say zip code, but they're not even close. They're not even the same area code, right? May not even be on the same three area. I mean, you could go out 3 or 4 area codes before you get to where they're at. They're just not even close, right? Team Canada, Team USA has had a little bit of a struggle in the first game against Finland, who's probably going to take third. But other than that, it's been smooth sailing. The women's game internationally really needs to pick up. And I think one of the ways that it will pick up is this women's hockey league where women are getting paid a living wage to play hockey. Right now, they're not getting what the men are getting, but they're getting paid a living wage. I think they have $1 million. I think their salary cap's $1 million amongst 20. Well, I mean, you can spend it any way you want. And then there's a couple exceptions there, so it's playable. I really do think that there's some things there. Apparently, I'm stirring it up. Oh, sorry, Ash. Well, with the U.S.-Canada game tonight, I had to do it. No big deal. I know Lance is going up and down, so I can get on and do it by myself. I'm used to it. Let me see. Where am I at? Let's see. Let's get back here. And Jason Nichols says it's crazy. We can't just say whatever we want when we have mentally ill people listening to us. Our angry opinions, our misspeaks can be taken literally. It's simple common sense. It's humanity. Okay, I'm going to talk all hockey now. No, and I don't have an issue with that statement there. But it's just not those that are mentally ill. It's those that have strong beliefs, right? It's fine to have the distrust. Hell, you have it most of the front office. And coach, you're probably right there. Yes, you are stirring. Now I get what you're saying. You're stirring it up. Both teams remember how to play defense. They played 98% of the games in the ozone. Yeah, neither team may know how to play defense. Chris, I'm with you there. Keep Husso. I don't think you should, right? And we can get into this. We can get into this Husso debate a little bit. Husso is a free agent. We are paying Bennington $6 million. What we pay him really shouldn't matter. Hey, Wendy, how you doing? Actually, Wendy, I'm going to be talking about Chicago here in a little bit. Give me a few to finish what I'm talking about here now. Excuse me. My nose itches there. I just lost. Husso, we're paying Bennington $6 million. Now, what we're paying Bennington really doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. What matters is how much you pay both your goalies, right? I get where you don't want to lose him, but if you could get a first and a second round pick, or a first and a third round pick, or a first and a NHL ready prospect, would you? Would you? I mean, I would. You're not going to get anything back for him. There's been no talk of contract negotiations. There's none of that going on. I just do not see him staying here with Bennington locked long term. He's finding a way. No, well, wait a minute. If you were Husso, would you want to stay here? Would you want to play here? You are not going to be the starter. It's not going to happen. You sign a 1 or a 2 year contract to be a backup. You're going to get paid backup money. You're at that point in your career where it's be a starter or not. And actually, we are moneyballing it. We are moneyballing it in a way. Look at what we have. I'll tell you what. In the minors, we have 3 players that I think are better than Husso. Well, 2 for sure that are better than Husso. Buzz again.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
No problem. We have 2 guys in the minors right now that are absolutely better than Husso.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ellis and Hoffer.
Mm-hmm.
They're younger. They're faster. They've got better net coverage. They're cheaper. They are the guys that are going to get you to that next level when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm showing you. You're getting some Ashleys.
Hey guys.
I can't do anything about the echo, guys. I think it's when Ashley. I think when Ashley comes on, that's why it's picking up. I think her headphone picks up my mic, or her mic picks up what I'm saying in her headphone.
I mean, we can try to mute.
1, 2. Yeah, it goes away then. So that's what I think's happening.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, it kind of goes away. So we'll figure it out. There's something that we can, that I might be able to do to try and put a delay or something on it so it sounds better. It just might be how loud she has it in her ears. I'm not sure. Actually,
Okay.
That's a lot better right there.
All right. I have a hard time hearing sometimes, but we'll go with this.
You're what?
I have a hard time hearing sometimes, so
Okay,
we'll go with
yeah,
this.
we'll just have to work on it. One way to do it is on your mic. Turn the mic volume down a little bit so it doesn't pick up the ears as much.
I'll
right?
play with it later.
Yeah, we can. But that's it. Where are we at? Looks like Ashley has a necklace. Holy 80s. Let's see. I agree then, but are they really? We never know what you're going to do until you play in the big show. Okay, Huso's been here and had a great game, right? Huso played very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all get glitchy. We're working on it, right? Rob Morton says the front office will have people who love whatever they do and haters no matter what they do. So, and that's a true statement.
It's a fair point.
Right? And we know what Huso is going to do. Well, yes and no. Okay, yes and no. Right now, right this moment, Huso is playing out of his gourd.
Mm-hmm.
At what point does he fall back to earth? Because I think he's playing above his talent level, right? And I'm not the only one that said this. Now, yeah, you guys know that we've had Lance on, and Lance played goalie at a very at a low professional level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he does understand how to play goalie, and he said that he feels that Huso's playing above his skill level. I see it. I think he's playing above his skill level. Which T-shirts are you talking about?
No, he wants to get you a T-shirt that says "I love Chief."
Yeah, not going to happen. Would you like for me to join you guys when you start discussing the Blackhawks? Because they said we're going to talk about the... Oh, yeah, you know what, Wendy? Let me bring you in. We'll talk about that here very, very shortly. Let me kind of finish, give me just a second. You can check your Twitter here in just a moment, Wendy. Yeah, I do want to talk about this because I've actually one of the most liked comments that I've ever had on Twitter was a comment I made about the Blackhawks yesterday, believe it or not. Hold on. There is... So yesterday, it was brought out, you are what your numbers say you are at a certain point. Could it be the 19 played higher than his level? And that's an absolutely great point. And it is. And it really, really is. Right? Oops.
Tanner brings up a point, but I think it's not quite accurate because goalies typically mature at 26, 27.
Yeah.
You're going to see them at their best at that age.
Okay, let me bring in my buddy Wendy. How you doing, Mayor Nick?
Doing all right. How are you guys?
Okay. Well, I wanted to bring this up. I saw it yesterday, and actually probably one of the most liked comments I've ever had was after this story broke. The Chicago Blackhawks this year are in November fired their longtime trainer of the Iowa Cubs. Is that right?
Of the Rockford Ice Hogs.
Rockford Ice Hogs. Okay. What did I say? Iowa Cubs?
Yeah, I mean, they did interview the Cubs assistant GM today for becoming the GM for the Blackhawks, so it makes sense to bring up the Iowa Cubs.
Yeah, so they fired him, and it turns out the day after the Kyle Beach report came out, they got a call and a report of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know anything more than that. We know that they investigated it, and on November 5th, they fired him.
Yeah, on October 27th of 2021, they were informed by, I'm assuming, an employee in Rockford. Mm-hmm. Something occurred back in 2014.
Okay.
And then the Hawks investigated the situation, and then they, I guess, deemed it appropriate enough to fire the guy. Not appropriate enough. Deemed it more seriously enough to fire the guy. I meant to say that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. So they ended up firing him. And then this is the part of the story that really gets the problem. They kept it under wraps. Right? Now, on Twitter, I put a thing about I want to say it was an ESPN reporter, a female reporter that
Emily
reported
Kaplan.
the story initially. Emily Kaplan. Yeah, I couldn't absolutely remember, right?
Yeah.
I like this. I'm sorry, Wendy. The only thing from Illinois that I ever rooted for was Rockford Peaches. A League of Their Own. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you never saw A League of Their Own.
I have, and the Ice Hogs actually made jerseys that representing the Rockford Peaches a couple years ago.
Oh, that would have been cool. So, I had a couple of people reach out, one a Cubs fan, one not, and saying, look, this isn't, they shouldn't have had to report this. They should have never had to report this. Actually, yeah, they should have. They promised in when the October thing came out, transparency and handling of this stuff. They promised that. Here, 5 days later, you went right back on that transparency and hit it. Then you have Rocky Wirtz go off on a reporter asking a question about what you're doing.
Yes.
To handle, to train and do this, and you go off on that reporter and say, we're not going to talk about this. We're done with it. And then 2 days later, this gets released. My guess is they release it to show some of that transparency. Problem is, it's a little late. Right?
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit late. And
if you want to know why, and here's the thing, and I had someone bring up, well, why should they have to report it? They, and not every corporation needs to report that. Here's the problem with this. How many of you remember, and I have to say, remember, that I can't believe this, Sears, right? Because Sears is gone now. In the 80s, Sears used to do this thing called the bait and switch. The bait and switch was they would advertise a very cheap product, a product on sale. They wouldn't have that product. When you went to the store, they would try and sell you a much higher cost product. Oh, we don't have that in stock. What about, and that was the bait and switch. They got caught. In 85, they got sued and lost. I went to work for Sears, 95, 10 years later, and that was still in the company policy that you had to be given a training on what bait and switch is to make sure that you didn't do that. If someone asked you to come in for a sale product, you had to show them the sale product.
Yeah.
If the sale product was not available, you had to offer them to order it. You could not show them another product unless they specifically asked you to be shown that product. There you go. Bait and switch. It's like Ottawa advertising for hockey at their rink. Yeah, no, or like Florida saying they have a hockey team because a couple of years ago, no one was there. But here it was 10 years. The point I'm trying to make is 10 years later, and has a new hired employee who had nothing to do with it. We're still getting talked about it. It was part of their lexicon forever because of this. Well, with that being the case, I think when you have an incident like this that comes out and really puts that you're done. You can't hide this anymore. You've got to come on right away. You got to come on right away and say, nope, this is what happened. And not only that, the commissioner, now Gary Benton's something else we can talk about, but I want to hear Wendy's opinion on what I said just now, or what he thinks about what I talked about.
Well, I do agree the Hawks should have probably reported the situation that, yes, they fired their head of equipment. It was the equipment manager, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been
Rockford. Days after they were informed of what occurred back in 2014. At the time, they had no clue of the allegations of the sexual harassment that occurred back in 2014. Then they get the information and they took it to investigation. About 5 days after they found out of all of it, they end up firing the guy. And with what's all what happened with the Hawks, I do feel like, yeah, the Hawks probably should have made a, I guess, minor press release to make sure people had reclamation of what something happened about 2014, but they get word of it within the.
No, this wasn't a Kyle Beach thing where they got told about it in 2010 and just let it go, right?
Here's the thing too. A lot of people did not realize at the time in 2014 the Rockford Ice Hogs, yes, they were affiliated with the Hawks, but they were still not owned by the Chicago Blackhawks. The Chicago Blackhawks took ownership of the Ice Hogs just last spring in 2020.
Okay, but at the same point, now this guy had been with the Ice Hogs for like 20-something years, right?
Oh yeah, he's been there. He was there for, if I remember correctly in the report, so it said 15 or 16 years with the Ice Hogs organization.
A long period of time. Once you make a mistake, the mistake stays with you as a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go away, and we've seen that in other corporations, right? Exxon, right? Anytime there's an oil spill now, it doesn't care what it is, Exxon gets brought up, right?
Yeah.
When the Deepwater Horizon incident happened, right? The immediately after that happened, the first thing you heard was Exxon Valdez. Well, Ashley does the do. I do coke.
Yeah, all about the do over here.
Right. So, it's going. Once you make a mistake as a corporation, it's not going to go away. I'll tell you what. I was in the Navy during something called tailhook, and I bet maybe Ashley might have heard something about it. I know Wendy wouldn't. If someone's out there about my age, you may have heard about what tailhook was. I want to know if anybody out there knows what tailhook is besides me before I get into it.
Because I have no idea.
I don't know what.
The reason I'm not, but the reason I'm bringing it up is it's still very relevant in the military today. What happened, and I want to say this happened about 93, 94. Right? Okay. Tailhook. Well, I don't think it was rape cases. It was sexual assault and sexual harassment. So what happened? The naval aviators, had a conference called Tailhook. A tailhook, if you don't know, is on the back of a plane, a naval plane that they use to drop down and catch the wire to stop them for landing on an aircraft carrier. They had an association called Tailhook. This association held a conference once a year. This year they held it in Vegas. And it was, and again, think of the time period.
1991, guy.
Say again?
1991. I was 5-6 years old.
I didn't think it was that early, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 91. But okay, well, it came out in 92, 93. Right? In late 91, early 92 is when this first got exposed. So a lot was going on. Kevin T said it. Sex booze, the hotels, it was all kinds of things. I don't even want to get into all of it, right? It was graphic. There were a couple of women who were groped and touched and done like this. One of them, a officer, went to her commanding officers, right? Went to a commanding officer and told him about it and got told it's just boys being boys.
Guy, it was 83 women and 6 men.
83 women and 6 men. That's okay. That's the eventual end of the report.
Mm-hmm.
The original was one lady that came out, right? Now, see, this much I do know because I was in the middle of, not that I was at Tailhook, but I was in the middle of all that training. I worked in aviation, so I got a lot of the messages. My message counter kept getting filled up, so I got a lot of those messages. Me and my first class and my division officer were getting a lot of these messages. Right, we were tagged for them because they dealt with aviation, and we refueled the helicopters on. Actually, I don't think there's been any movies about it, Jason. To be honest, I don't think there has been. If there has, it might have been a Lifetime movie, but I'm not sure. But it came out, and sexual harassment, I mean, this is where the Marine Corps comes up with the stoplight, red light, yellow light, green light. Right? And I'm sure if you've had any sexual harassment training, you've heard of the stoplight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's green light? What's yellow light? What's sorry, I watched too much ID channel. What's red light behavior? Well, that's how that all came about. That was in 91. That's 30-something years ago. Right? 40 years ago. 30 years ago, right? 91.
No, not 40. Not 40.
30. Hey, I'm kind of old. 30-something
years ago. It was 30 years ago, guy. 30.
30 years ago. And this is still, I mean, it's affected how the Navy operates today. Mm-hmm. How the Marine Corps, how the Army, how everything operates today. So it's going to take Chicago Blackhawks a long time to get over this. They are going to have to report things that they probably would not have ever reported before. It's got to come out. If they don't come out, if it doesn't come out, if they don't report it and it comes out like it did in this article, right? And to be honest with you, I think Chicago leaked it. I think the Blackhawks leaked it to Emily.
I did see something from Jesse Rogers on that tweet thing that ESPN apparently contacted the Hawks about it, and the Hawks basically said, yeah, they can go about the situation. I saw it last night.
Yeah. They said, they contacted him for the story, and they said that it did happen, right? Yeah. What I'm thinking is, and this is my conspiracy theory here, that Rocky Wirtz thing really looked bad. Even his apology didn't go over very well.
Yeah, here's what Jesse Rogers of ESPN tweeted. We took the story to the Hawks. Well, this is all he said. We took the story to them, meaning the Blackhawks. Yeah. They didn't leak anything because someone in the comment section was saying 100% leaked. It's on purpose because Rocky's tantrum to show the rest of the company's worst tolerance of sexual harassment. Then Jesse Rogers basically told the guy, we took this story to the Blackhawks before even posting that.
Okay. And that's fair enough, but it feels like, and that's why that guy's comment there, I mean, it feels like it. It has somebody within the organization leaked it out. That's my feeling there.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll just kind of either they were connected to the organization, or they were former from the organization, and the organization told them to go leak it out for us. Mm-hmm. Right. That's my feeling there, and I hope that doesn't go too much off. But right now, Rocky Wirtz and the Chicago Blackhawks organization need a reset.
I think Rocky Wirtz needs to step down as chairman of the entire organization.
He can still own it, but someone else needs to take his place, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe Danny, his son, who actually took over as CEO in the last summer, take over, because he seems to be more in time to actually try to right this ship from it being terrible to try and get it fixed.
I want to be honest, right? I know that the Blackhawks are our biggest rival, and I don't like the Blackhawks, but I want them relevant because when they're relevant, the rivalry between the two teams is better. It's better when the two teams are relevant, not when one is relevant and the other isn't.
It's better for the two teams, it's better for the NHL, and it's just better for the sport in general.
Right? Yeah, no, it is. And that's why I want them relevant. But right now, what they're doing does not make them relevant. And I go back to this. It's not that I hate Kane. It's not that I hate Taze. But if you're going to reset, this is how you reset. You really need to trade one of those and get and say, look, this is us moving on. We're gonna do some new stuff. Right, and I agree with Kevin. I think Wirtz absolutely poured gas on the fire.
What Rocky did last week, he really screwed up. And I was the next day I made a video saying Rocky Wirtz basically needs to be removed as chairman of the Chicago Blackhawks.
No, and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Some of these teams that are owned by families long time. Mm-hmm. Are really that you get to a point where you have someone who doesn't care.
Yeah.
And Rocky Wirtz felt to me like he did not care about the Blackhawks at all.
I would say at the time Rocky took ownership and chairman, he wanted this team to succeed. But what he did last week, he lost any sorts of credibility. Because his dad at the time, his dad was nicknamed Dollar Bill Wirtz for a reason. He would not show Blackhawk games on TV.
Nope.
And he ran the team to be voted upon as the worst professional sports team ran for decades.
Yes.
And then Rocky came in. He was willing to spend money bring in players and get this team to go on to win multiple Stanley Cups. Then, now all this has occurred. Rocky's basically turned into his father at what we saw last week.
How's this one there, Wendy? Will you take it?
Taze for Husso, problem solved. I mean, Saad already plays.
No, I don't want Taves. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't want Taze. I wouldn't mind Kane as much as I hate Kane as a person. He's an incredible talent, and he would give us 4 scoring lines instead of 3, and would also help shore up our defense because he is a bit of a two-way player.
No, he is not.
No, thank you. I don't want a part of either player. They can stay in Chicago.
Kane is no way in any way a defensive player.
Doesn't he play? I thought I'd seen him on the penalty kill.
Never. The only time he's played on a penalty kill was when we pull our goalie, we're on a penalty kill, and he comes out onto the ice.
Okay. No, I get that. Let me see. And just remember, when you pour gas on a fire, it's not the liquid that's potent, it's the fumes, and they're yeah, I agree with that. It is the fumes. They didn't just throw gas on the fire; they threw a freaking propane tank, right? Because that exploded, right? That wasn't gas on a fire. They threw a propane tank. I don't know. I just think that I want that organization relevant, but the organization really needs to do a reset, and I don't think that they can wait 2 to 3 years for a rebuild. Right? I don't think, because they've been in a rebuild for what, 4 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Since 17?
Not necessarily, because they weren't considering themselves even in a retool until 2020 after the playoffs. They then announced they were going into a rebuild. They rushed the rebuild by failing at it this summer by acquiring Steph Jones for 2 first-round picks, a Now a star defenseman in Adam Bolquist because Stan Bowman was an idiot. The rebuild process has completely failed in just under a year of them officially announcing they were rebuilding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, we will, we will. I mean, but believe it or not, you know, and I talk about this. This is a Blues show, but we've got to cover the entire NHL because, that was an emergency. I hope nobody got hurt. Because everything that the other teams do affects us. And yes, we can talk about Kyrou. Kyrou had a weekend. Kyrou had himself a weekend. He just missed being the MVP.
Where did I see earlier today there was a report that Kyrou could be on the move this deadline if they try to make some type of splash?
Oh, I didn't see that. I can't see that happening. That had to be I'd have to look at it. That'd have to be a junk site, right? Because I can't see that. I can't see that. If you're an organization that is, this guy's your leading scorer, right? He's at the top. He's a points per goal per game guy. You don't give him up to get better. You give him up to get worse. You're not getting better giving him up. You're not going to get enough back to cover what he's worth to you.
Now,
right?
What if it led to the fact since St. Louis is in cap hell,
okay,
I have to make a move.
Kyrou's only $2 million, and he's got another, and he's an RFA, right? He's an RFA. He's going to get a little bit of a raise, but I don't think he's arbitration eligible. So actually, he might be arbitration eligible this time. Right? It's okay to ride a young skater as opposed to Husso. Big difference here. Big difference here. And I Bob, I get what you're saying, right? Husso's an unrestricted free agent. He walks no matter what. Kyrou is an RFA, and I think he's arbitration eligible. But even at arbitration eligible, he's not going to make that big of a raise. Maybe he gets 3.5. Maybe. Right? Mm-hmm. There's other things you can do to afford that 3.5. Guys are going to... I usually keep this pulled up because I know it comes up almost every episode. I'm pulling up Cap Friendly here real quick. See if I can pull up the Blues, who are not as in much cap hell as everybody thinks they are. They actually have they have 146,000 in the cap space. So Kyrou,
that's pretty much cap hell.
Kyrou is not an RFA till 23-24. We have him next year for 22-23 for $2.8 million. Right? Mm-hmm. We have the RFAs we have this season are the UFAs. The UFAs we have are David Perron at $4 million. He's not going to make $4 million more if he stays. Tyler Bozak at $750,000. I don't see them re-signing him. Robert Bortuzzo at $1.35. We have a glutton of defensemen. They want Prunovich to come up. Bortuzzo's gone, and then Husso at $750,000. Right. For me, I see money where you need it. You have Kostin is an RFA. Kostin I see getting traded. Brown is an RFA who's arbitration eligible. Brown is going to get a raise. I think he doubles. I think he goes to 1.25. Right?
Okay.
She dropped out real quick. She'll be right back. Apparently, you have a sick jersey on there, Wendy.
My U.S. jersey.
Oh, you
were ready
US
for
jersey,
tonight's U.S.-Canada women's game.
Trust that the Blues will make cap room for Kyrou. I think they will because they got 2 years, right? And that, not only that year that Kyrou becomes an RFA, both O'Reilly and Tarasenko are UFAs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's $14 million right there.
Yeah.
Right? If we don't play Cairo here forever. No, right now Cairo's earning his paycheck. He's doing. He's the guy that we're getting a lot of value out of a second round pick, the 35th or 36th overall pick. We're getting a lot of value out of that. I'll take it. Michael Dante, Dante's Inferno joined us. I'd be careful to overlook not signing Bortuzzo back, which would come pretty cheap. People don't realize how valuable to our penalty kill. It's way too overlooked. That small loss could be costly. Well, I think Prunovic fits right in there. I think Prunovic can be that guy that Bortuzzo is, right? And then we also got somebody. Who else do we have down on the farm? Rosen, and I want to say Annis, but I think Annis might be a forward, right? I like Bortuzzo too, but he's also 35. Or no, that's Bortuzzo is 30. He's 32, so he's on the down. He's on the down end, right? And I don't know. For me, with Prunovic being there, and then see if I can pull up my defenseman. You've got Tyler Tucker, Steven Santini, who we've seen up, and Callie Rosen, right? Three guys right there. Rosen is 28, Santini's 26, Tyler Tucker's 21, and I think he's someone that they've been talking about. He was acquired via draft. He was a 7th round pick in 2018, and I could see possibly him coming up. Annis is a forward or center. I couldn't remember. So, but I could see something like that. I'd like to see us go for another cup run. We need another one. I agree, Chris. I really do. We have a big physical 55 weight. Yeah. He needs to get physical. Mikula is our future star D-man. I will agree with that. He has talent. He's also very young, and he's mean. I will agree. I think Mikula is that guy. Mikula is the guy that I don't want traded. We traded a defenseman away to Carolina when we got Falk, and I wasn't happy about it, and I can't remember who it was. I think you know who it was, Dante.
Was it Bach?
That's it, Bach. Yeah. Right. And I think Bach has been getting some time up with Carolina, hasn't he?
I don't think so. I think he's still playing in Chicago for the Wolves.
For the Wolves, but I know he's only like 20.
Yeah.
19 or 20. He's still pretty young. Bach is not a D-man. I thought we traded a defenseman. I know we traded Edmonton and one other one. Edmondson, yeah. I'll ask how Sideburn was doing. I honestly haven't been keeping up with Springfield. My hand's still messed up, so it's hard for me to type and talk at the same time. It kind of hurts a little bit. Let's see if I can come up with something here. See if I can come up with their stats or something recently. I know he's had a bad outing and he's had a good outing there. I think well, you say Perron will stay, but how much is he going to stay for? He's not getting $4 million again.
Who was it that someone was saying on a player on Springfield?
Lindgren.
Here, I can pull it up. I'm on.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Website.
Say again?
I actually have the AHL website pulled up on my computer all the time.
Yeah, I should.
Lindgren has a GAA of a 2.5 in Springfield in 15 games played.
Can you pull up his last five games or so?
Last 5 games, he appears to have. He got yanked in 1 game, it looks like.
Yeah, he did get yanked in 1 game. I know that. It's showing for this season he's 11-2-1.
Yeah, he's 11-2-1 with a GAA of a 205 and a 2.5 and a save percentage of a 916. Last 2 games, he has had a 193 goals against and a 185 goals against. Game before that was a 412 goals against, and the game before that was a 34.29 goals against average. That's okay. He's looking like he had a rough patch, and then it's now coming back.
Caught it back, and that's what I think Bennington's going to do. To be honest, Perron will sign a team friendly. I think nobody's going to pay him $5 million for 5 years at his age. No, I'd like to get him for 2. Right at this point, especially with this decline this season, I'd like to get him for 2. Right, Perron.
Oh.
He's making 4. I'd like to get him for 2 if we can get him. If he's not going to take 2, I say let him walk. Right? That's kind of where I'm at on there.
Let him walk for what, the 5th time out of St. Louis?
Be the 4th time.
Oh.
So we drafted him, traded him, re-signed him, let him go as a unrestricted free agent, re-signed him, and then it'll be like the 3rd time. So some song annoys you. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Here we go. I'd love to go to a Hawks game in my blue sweater if I weren't so afraid of being murdered. And that last song I hear was the goal song. Huh? Oh, I can't stand that song. I cannot stand that song.
It's the best goal song in hockey.
Not even close.
USA uses it as well.
Well, I don't know why. That's it. Yeah, that's just every time I hear that, I almost puke.
It's a great goal song. St. Louis is stupid.
Oh, don't go there now. At least we have a song from my hometown band. Where's Chelsea a Dagger from? I never even heard of that name of the song until I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know that it was a song, popular song or anything.
The Perkel from Finland?
A band from Finland.
Yes.
There you go. Let's all the great Chicago artists we have, we're going to use a band from Finland for our goal song.
Because it annoys the hell out of other teams, such as Vancouver, that was the first time the Hawks introduced the Chelsea Dagger as their goal song. It was against Vancouver in, I believe, 2009, and then they kept it because it annoyed the living hell out of Vancouver fans and their players.
Yeah, well, I think it annoys the hell out of everyone who hears it, except for Blackhawks fans. Right? I think the only song worse than that was the Whaler song.
Brass Bonanza?
Yes.
That's a classic.
Oh, come on. I hear that. Oh my God. I hear that and I cringe. That's
a classic hockey song.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I just cringe.
I wasn't even born yet when the Whalers were a thing. And I know Brass Bonanza. That's a classic.
Yeah. It absolutely horrible. It is the worst song you could ever come up with. Right? Absolutely the worst song.
It's a classic. I'm glad the Hurricanes are using it when they wear their Whaler jersey.
Yeah, I like the Hurricanes. Who's coming out of the East for you?
I am honestly on the side where I think the Panthers come out of it.
I'm with you, but I can't discount Tampa Bay right now.
I don't think Tampa Bay is going to make it out of the first round this year. There's something with them. Yes, they're still going to be the 2-time defending champions, but there's a thing with them. I don't know if they are going to go in and do what they did the last 2 years.
Well, actually, I see them getting out of the first round without a problem.
If they meet the Panthers in the first round, I think the Panthers knock them out immediately.
No, they're going to meet right now, as it stands, they would meet the Maple Leafs in the first round.
Okay, if they play the Leafs, anyone beats the Leafs in the first round. So, right. Yeah.
I mean, and it's possible. The Leafs are sitting at a 733 win percent or points percentage, and the Panthers have a 734 points percentage. But I don't see the Leafs maintaining that. You know, they've got 4 games in hand. I don't see them winning 3 of those. I see them only getting 4 points out of the 8.
Yeah.
Right. And you give them 4, that puts them at 67, which and you give Tampa 1, that puts them and Tampa tied at 67 with Florida at 69. So no, I really don't see that. I see them. They would take on Florida in the second round. Because right now Florida would take on the Bruins. And that right there, Florida taking on the Bruins, I could see the Bruins handing Florida a nasty time.
I don't think so. There's something with the Bruins this year. Yeah, they're playing a lot better than everyone expected this season, but can they keep it going? Because they really don't have a number 2 centerman on that team. And what does Florida have? They have the Hart Trophy candidate this year in Jonathan Huberdeau. Yeah. And then they also have Alex Barkov. That team's stacked in Florida.
Yeah. No, it is. And I think that they could take them to 6.
Okay.
I think they could take them to 6, and I think that all the games would be very close. They wouldn't be like blowouts.
Okay.
They'd be 1-goal games or empty netter games.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying that they'll beat them. I'm just saying that they'll give them all they can handle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could go 6 or 7 with 1-goal games.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure you could probably see that too.
Yeah, I could see it going about 6.
Right? You look at some of the other matchups. You've got the Rangers in Pittsburgh. That's going to go 6 or 7.
I would say that one goes 7 if Pittsburgh figures out how to play a stronger defensive style against the Rangers.
Well, honestly, see, so if you're looking at the Metro right now, the top 3, you have Carolina at 65 points for 756. Then you have the Rangers at 681 for 64 points, and Pittsburgh at 674 for 62 points. Carolina's got 4 games and 3 games in hand.
Yeah,
respectively. Carolina's probably going to win that division more than likely.
Yeah, they will likely win the division. They could go on and win the President's Trophy.
Could. Yeah, they're sitting right there. I mean, if you give them 4 points, they've got 4 games in hand on the Panthers. You give them 4 points, that puts them even.
Yeah.
Right. All right. And I look at when I look at games in hand, I look at a point per game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The 500 mark. That's what I look at. So that's kind of how I deal with it. Now let's take a look at the West real quick before we go away. I love having Wendy on, man. It gives me good things to talk about. Right. So we're going to look at, if the playoffs started now, here's going to be really interesting. The Avalanche will take on the Flames.
Oh, a rematch from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I could see that going 6.
I would say that one goes 7 because you probably have the Vezina winner and Markstrom this year up against the Avalanche and their high power offense.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an interesting one that goes 7 if that was a series that started today.
Predators at the Wild, or Wild at the Predators. Now, let me. That's as they stand now in points.
Yeah, I know.
Points percentage that would flop.
Okay.
Right? Points percentage that would flop. So, Wild and the Predators.
I would take the Wild in 6 in that series.
It's going to come down to goaltending.
I kind of like the goaltending better in Minnesota than the Predators.
I like Saros better than I do Kokkinen, but I like Minnesota's defense a little better than I do Nashville's defense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's where I am there. So then we go to the West, or the Pacific, and you have the Knights and the Blues.
I would take Vegas in that series in a 7-game series.
Well, here's the thing. The Blues right now have 57 points, 44 games.
Yeah.
Vegas has 46 games and 57 points. Really, St. Louis, I mean, they're the better team, and they've actually played Vegas really. I think they beat Vegas twice this year. Right?
Okay.
I think the Blues win that one in 6.
But
right?
Who wasn't part of their lineup at all?
Say again?
But think about who has not been a part of their lineup in Vegas at all since acquiring them.
Yeah, but I don't think you know what? He's going to hurt more than he's going to help.
I don't think so.
Who do they got to get rid of? They got to get rid of 3 players to put him on the roster. That $10 million, they gotta come up with that 10 mil.
Yeah,
right?
I'm aware they have to find some cap space. They probably do. They acquire some depth players that are cheaper on contracts that they can lose in the off season. But I think what happens at the deadline, they move out 3 players. They acquire depth roles that work for their lineup that can help them play more of a stingier type of hockey. I think it would work. That's why I
think what they've got to do is they got to trade players for draft picks and then bring up guys from the minors that are on low 2-way contracts.
The thing you got to trade. They know they cannot get draft picks back because teams know this team's in cap hell. They're going to take any sort of advantage against them that they know.
And they're going to give up low round draft picks. You're going to give up 6th and 7th round picks.
Yeah, and if they give up 6th and 7th round picks, that's nothing to the teams, really.
Yeah, they're going to give up 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. That's what they're going to give up, right? Mm-hmm. Vegas is, so for me, that's almost like the Blues back when they acquired Garth Butcher by trading their whole second line.
Okay.
Right? So to bring in Eichel, you got to trade your second scoring line. You know, and that's, I think it's going to hurt them more than help them. It might get them around. Actually, and I don't. It all depends on who's in that round. I don't see the Central stacking up the way it is right now.
Okay.
Right? I look at the Central, and I'll tell you what. I see the Central, and this is me being honest. If I'm going to look at the Central Division based on what we've seen so far to this point, right?
Yeah.
I go Colorado, St. Louis, Minnesota, Nashville, Dallas, maybe Winnipeg. I think those 2 could flip-flop. Even though right now Dallas seems to be much more locked into that spot.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree there.
Right? That's what I see being the top 5. And I can also see, so like Calgary's at 42 games. Actually, no. Calgary may slip into getting that 4. So they may, like Dallas, whoever gets that 5th spot, may not even come into the playoffs. But I could see everybody in the top 4 of the Central having more points than the top 3 in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So to me, that team, that guy that's in the number one wild card spot could have an advantage.
Yeah.
Right? Could have a strong advantage. And also, when you look at points percentage, right? Calgary jumps up to second. Vegas is at 620. Calgary's at 619. Calgary's got 4 games in hand on Vegas. They could easily catch up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's 8 points. That's 60. So you're looking at 4. That's 56. That 56 to 57. So they're right there. Right? So they're right there. I could see either the Kings or the Ducks falling back and Dallas possibly catching them.
Okay.
Right?
The Ducks are likely to fall out.
The Ducks and the Kings, the Ducks have 48 games. The Kings have 47 games for 55 points each. Yeah. Right? You look at Dallas. Dallas has 43 games at 48 points. Winnipeg has 42 games at 43 points. With those games in hand, they could easily, you're looking at 6 and 5 games in hand on the Ducks.
Yeah.
I could see one of them passing the Ducks.
The Ducks have been on a trend, on a downward trend, and they look like they are getting ready to fall out of everything.
Yes, Jack Eichel is a knight, Martin.
Yeah, Eichel ended up in Vegas, I want to say back in November. They traded, I believe it was
Touche.
Yeah, they traded Tuck and Thompson.
Yeah,
no,
Tuck and Tom.
Not Thompson. They traded a prospect over to them.
Yeah. Zegras is going to be an MVP in this league.
I don't think he will be a Hart Trophy winner.
Within 5 years, he wins a Hart Trophy.
I don't think so. I like Zegras. He's going to be a star in the NHL, but him being on Anaheim could hurt him for getting rewards.
You're right. It could, but it also could help him. When you're that good, and you've got some pretty decent talent around you, and here's the difference. This is why I think he'll be a Hart, and some of these other guys, he'll get the Hart when some of these other guys shouldn't. McDavid does not raise the level of play of those around him. Zegras raises the level of play of every single guy that steps on the ice with him, including the goalie. He raises that level of play. Watch his reaction on the alley-oop.
Oh, I know his reaction.
That right there, I have never seen the only other player that I've seen react like that. Actually, there's 2, but you got to go way back. I got to go back to the early 80s and the early 90s to come up with the 2 players that I've ever seen act like that when someone else scored a goal, and that's Gretzky and Hull. Both of those guys knew how to raise the level of the game of the people that played with them.
What fault to Steve Yzerman in the playoffs?
Oh. Shut the hell up.
I had to.
Shut up. And that's the end of Windy on my show. Sorry, buddy.
You knew I had to.
I don't know if you heard what I said. I said, and that's the end of Windy on my show.
Oh, I heard it.
I thought you'd get a little bit of a laugh out of it, man. I thought so. Well, we're at an hour and 20, man. What much fun. What a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on again today, Windy.
No problem.
Right, Nick? No, I really appreciate it, man. And thanks for discussing. I know this thing for the Blackhawks fans has got to be tough, right?
Oh, it's been a tough year. It has been. I've tried to cover it, but it's so difficult to really cover it all because how much of this has been going on and how the Hawks have handled it. It's really been very difficult to really deal with.
the Hawks haven't, though, and I said this, is this organization ever going to do something right? Because they haven't done anything right the last 2 years, right? They have not done anything right at all, right? I'm not saying that as a Blues fan. I'm saying that as a hockey fan.
Yeah.
Right? I look at what that organization has had happen in the last couple of years, and I can't see a move that's gone in a good direction for them. Right? And I think maybe the best move was, and I want to say it was Kirby Doc, but didn't he get hurt?
Yeah, drafting Kirby Doc, and then he gets a concussion in the prospect tournament, missed 15 games to start the season, his rookie year off. Then last year, the Hawks sent him to the World Juniors. He became captain of Canada. Yeah. And in the first 5 minutes of play in a pre-tournament game against Russia, he breaks his wrist and basically missed about 80% of last season. And this year, his development has shown that what happened last year is really detrimented his career.
Oh no, I could see that. I could really see that. I mean, he has the capacity, but I just don't think it's going to get there. No, Detroit fell about long before the Russians, but Detroit will be a playoff team next year. Detroit will be a playoff team next year. They the only thing that they're missing is a goalie.
Are you talking about Jason? Are you talking about Datsuk?
No, he's talking back before them.
No, they were still good until.
He's talking about when they had the Russian Five
until 2015.
Yeah, they went a little bit further than that after those guys left. Stevie Y and them guys left. Bob Morton's going to jet. We're going to be calling it a show here real shortly. Jackson, read me a story. Good night. Since you can't read. That was a joke from earlier we were talking about. Someone had brought up Hockey Feed article about the USA-Canada or Canada-Russia women's game. I don't know if you were here when I talked about it, but the article had some absolute lies in it.
Oh,
right. Oh yeah, it was really bad. They said that that Team Russia just took the mask off in the third period on their own accord, and that's not what happened. They took them off because they submitted the report to Team Canada at the second intermission. Team Canada chose to continue wearing masks. Right? So that's a little bit different.
This game's going to be an interesting one tonight between Canada.
Oh, no, I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it.
That's why I have this movie on right.
Yeah, I thought about live streaming reaction, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
All right. Are you going to do one?
Probably not. I'm just wanting to enjoy the rivalry between Canada and the U.S. for the women's game.
Yeah, it'll be on USA Network. USA Network's going to show the game.
Yeah, I know it's on USA Network and also on Peacock.
Peacock, yeah. So I ended up paying the $4 for Peacock at least through the Olympics.
Yeah, the $4 for Peacock, you get a lot of good shows on there. There's some hidden gems on that streaming service. I would recommend watching some of the shows off it because they are hilarious.
Well, you know what? We'll see if I'll do a live stream or not. I think I'm not sure. I know my wife wants to watch the figure skating, but and I kind of set that aside for her, but maybe we'll do it. Thanks to you. Appreciate that. Hidden gems on Roku too. I don't have a Roku. I haven't. I think for me, streaming services, I have Disney Plus because I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I have Netflix because the girls want it. I can't believe I have 27-year-old girls and I'm paying for their Netflix. I suck. But yeah, we'll go from there. Hey, Wendy, thanks for having me coming on, man. I really appreciate you jumping on. I wish I could jump on your lives a little more often. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that time difference makes it a little harder for me.
Yeah,
right.
That's understandable.
Yeah, and just with some of the other stuff we got going on, but I would love to do more stuff with you.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a lot of fun, and I still do want us to try and do a live stream together. Right. Mm-hmm. I think what I'd like us to do, do one, maybe not this season, but next season, one on your channel, one on my channel.
Okay.
So that way it evens out, you come on my channel and then I come on your channel, and that gives everybody a fair link. I don't know if you use StreamYard or not.
Yeah, I'm on StreamYard.
Do you have the, and I'm just asking, you don't have to tell me live, you can tell me offline, but paid or free?
Paid.
Okay. So you got the paid really makes a difference on how you link up.
Yeah, and it also gives you more of a variety of how you want to build the stream to more personalization.
Yep. That's what I've been working on. Okay, but it's a lot of fun. I don't. They're telling you to get on my live if I do it tonight, Wendy.
If that happens, we'll have to see. I could potentially hop on.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock your time though. Or 10 o'clock.
I was planning on watching the entire game.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I want to see how it plays out, because this could be, if it's just an offensive game where they're just going to go down, like an all-star game, then I don't want to watch it.
Usually between these two teams, it goes down to the final minute.
And it goes down to the final minute.
A defensive game.
That's true. However, in the past, they've been challenged in the round robin, at least one challenge in the round robin.
Yeah.
Neither one of these teams has really been challenged.
Yeah.
The closest the USA's been challenged was the first game against Team Finland when Brianna Decker went out.
Yeah, and it really wasn't as big of a loss as what people were thinking. Hopefully it's not a big loss for coming up into tonight's game.
Yep. My wife would rather have the TV on than hearing me snore like a tree. Okay, guys, this is Guy the Y Blues fan for Windy City Hockey. My buddy Nick saying aloha and mahalo, and we'll see you on the next Blue Note Fan Report. Aloha!